Perhaps for some of you, the idea of moving from Blackboard after years of building courses there and using courses over and over again, and moving that to Canvas and having to start from scratch is daunting. I know it has been for me. I'm actually one who tends to engage new technology and like it, but with all that's been going on this last year and just the demands already, are pretty extensive. So it's just felt a daunting sort of task to try to figure out Canvas and then to build in Canvas. And so I did find out a way to take my Blackboard course, to export it, to copy it into Canvas, and at least give me some building blocks to start with so that I'm not starting from scratch. Perhaps like many of you, I go back frequently to the course that I taught, a year ago or 2 years ago, and look for files that I used then, or okay, how did I frame things there? What did I do? And I needed a way to preserve that and to have those building blocks and those references still intact. So let me show you. I'm going to walk you through how I have exported courses from Blackboard and am importing those into Canvas and working with them there. So to save on time, I've already done some of these processes, but when I get there, I'll tell you if they take longer in that case. So let me switch over. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's Blackboard. I'm logged in. These are my courses going all the way back to 2013 fall. Now I don't teach all these as chair of a department. Some of these I'm just sitting in for observation purposes. So, okay, well, let's go to Western Civ. This is one I teach every single year. In fact, let's not do spring, let's do fall. So actually, no, we're gonna go with World Regional Geography, sorry. We're gonna go with World Regional Geography. This is one I teach every fall, mostly for our ed majors, but also for our international studies majors, our cross-cultural majors, that sort of group. Okay, so when you come into a Blackboard course, first thing you want to do is scroll on down over here to Packages and Utilities. So you'll see that here on the left. So scroll down there. And the second option in the menu is Export or Archive the course. And that's what you want to click on. Okay, so we got two options up here. Ignore this. When you come to this screen, there will be no file here. It will be empty. These are your two options, to export a package or to archive a course. Now, to give you some sort of background here, archiving a course is going to archive everything: student name, student contact, their grades, the whole package. The archive is meant to be a shot in time of the entire course, sort of like you back up your hard drive sort of thing. Well, that's not what we want, right? I don't really care about the students I don't want to copy over the students and their grades. I just need the content of the course. So in that case, we want to use Export Package. So click on Export Package. In Export Package here, you got a couple of options. Now I'll tell you what I've done. So I don't want it just to copy links. I actually want it to copy the files. So I'm having to copy the links and the files and the default directory for the course. So that's the 100 meg limited folder. But I also sometimes go over that 100 megs and I want to copy files or common files from our department's folders. So I also want to click here, copy links, and include copies of the files outside of the course default directory. Now you want to click on Calculate Size, and the reason for that is it only will go up to 100 megs. So I have one course that's 360 megs for the attachments. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do there. But at least this one falls underneath that 100 meg count, which is good. Okay, so you do that, and then you select what you want. Now I start off by selecting all, and then I come back in here and I unselect the things I don't want. These are going to be the sections in your course, so you'll notice that they mirror my menu items over here are mirrored here, so I want those. I don't really care. Well, actually, I am going to leave announcements because that'll give me a sense of what announcements did I make and why. Didn't use blogs. I didn't use the calendar. I didn't use collaborative. I didn't use contacts. I didn't use content alignment. I didn't use discussion boards or glossaries. And I don't really care about carrying over the grade center columns and settings because I'm going to have to recreate new grades and new assignments anyways. But maybe you want to leave those. I didn't use groups or journals. Or I may have used rubrics, so we're going to leave those. I'm going to leave all these settings. I think I'm not exactly sure what they impact when I import in Canvas, so I'm just going to leave those there. I didn't use tasks. I do want to copy over my tests, surveys, and pools, though, and I did not use wikis. So that's the way I've thought through it, just to keep it clean, only take what I want or what I need. Okay, once you've done that, you want to hit Submit. And then you're going to get this wonderful sort of Blackboard-esque process where it tells you the action's been queued and you'll get an email when it's done. So you get an email when that's done. Here is the earlier file I exported. Did this exact same thing this morning. What you do once the file shows, and you may have to click refresh for it to show, but once it shows, you just simply click the file name itself, and it will begin downloading. Now, this is a 76 meg file, so I'm actually going to cancel this because I've already downloaded it once. But when you download it, you download it to your downloads folder. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to log into Canvas. And of course, Blackboard is now at oldcourses.letu.edu. So if you go to courses.letu.edu, you can log into Canvas. So here's my Canvas screen. As you can tell, I've done nothing with it because it's overwhelming, and I just have not had the energy to face it. So now I've got to try to figure it out. So here I am. And what you want to do is you want to go to the sandbox to import your course. So remember, you cannot build courses directly into Canvas. You have to build them in the sandbox, which basically keeps them from messing up anything else, and then ask CDT to copy your course from sandbox to your regularly scheduled section. So for example, this fall, I am scheduled to teach a world regional geography. So I'm going to go build that course in Sandbox and then ask them to copy it over. So let's click on admin, then click on Sandbox. Okay, and you can tell we've been building courses like crazy. We have 10,000 courses in our Sandbox, so it's not going to give it to you. Now, if you know you've already created a course, you can search for it. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you haven't. So you want to click Add a New Course, give your course a name, come up with some. Here, I'll do mine. Come up with some reference code. I think for mine, I just did GEOG, which is the 4-letter code for the course in the catalog. And then leave those the same, and you click Add Course. And once you click Add Course, it's going to create the course. You get a little announcement here at the top that says Course Created. And then it would take you to the course you just created, but you do have to go ahead and plug in either the course numbers, or in fact, if I do that, I get all of these. So let's do it this way instead. World Regional, I'm going to type in the title, and there it is, and I do have to click on it. Okay, it takes me now to the course I just created. When you create a course, all of these sections are going to be gray. The only reason they're black right now is because I've already imported this. So they're going to be gray. You want to come down to Settings at this point. Go to Settings. And then once the setting page is loaded, over here on the right-hand side, it says Import Content into this course. So we're going to click on Import Content. Okay, and then up here in the top, you need to tell it what kind of content. In the case of Laterno's Blackboard, it's Blackboard, I think, 8 or 9. So you want to click on the Blackboard 6789 export zip file, and then choose it. So you want to go down to your downloads folder. In this case, it would be, for me, this one right here, the GEOG, and it needs to be the .zip file. So you click that. Now, I haven't done anything with the default test bank yet. When it imported, it automatically created 2 test banks for me based off of the test I was importing. So if you leave it blank, it will essentially create 2 question banks for you, or create a question bank for each exam you're importing. Okay, you want to import all of your content, most likely. If not, you can click specific. I've never done that. I just did all of it. And then click import. And what it's going to do is then upload your file. Now, in the case of this, it was a 75 meg file, so it took a few minutes, probably 5 or 10. And you'll see a progress bar or a progress percentage down here at the bottom. And then when it's done, it'll come down here and you'll see the name. And you'll see sort of I think it says running and it's blue. And then when it's done, it'll say completed. And at that point, when you're done and it says completed, it has imported all of that content now into this Canvas site. So simply click back on home. Your menu here on the left then should refresh, and you should see some black names rather than gray. So let me show you what imported when I imported that course from Blackboard. First of all, I got all my announcements from the Blackboard course. Now I'm going to go through and delete these, but I chose to keep them because I sort of wanted to see, well, what had I done? What sort of things had I posted? You know, this Welcome to World Regional Geography I might use again. So, but I can go down through and delete the rest of these. If you go to assignments, the way this works out is it lists your, basically lists the categories from Blackboard. So here's the reading quiz category, the class participation category, the projects and the presentation category. So that's how that works. If you go to, see, I didn't use discussion boards. Grades, I don't think will show anything at this point since there are no students in the classes. Yeah, that won't show anything yet. Pages will give you, if you had any special pages that you built for the class. So here are two. These were basically pieces within the lecture side where I had them watch a video. And so that's where Canvas has put them. Perhaps the most important thing here for those of you who are looking to sort of get a step ahead is this file section. So you'll see here all the files and all of my lectures from World Regional Geography last year that are now already in Canvas, and I just have to link to them as I build the course. You'll see when you go to quizzes, any quizzes or exams, they're not available to students, but they are in the system. So I've got my 11 and 13 question exams here already. When you go to modules, now modules, because of the way I built out my Blackboard course, I didn't build them out by units, I built them out by sort of topic. And so I get all of my lecture material here in one module, my exams in another, my projects and my resources. And let me give you a sense of how that's being taken care of. It's taking each one of these sections and building a module out of it. So that's what's happening there. And I've got to figure that out on my own. Okay, so, hopefully that's helpful. The nice thing is at least I have everything here, and now I can sort of move it around to where I want it. I can delete it if I'm not interested, but at least I'm not starting from scratch. And that's what I needed, and perhaps that's helpful for you as well.